that's why I bring up the accent thing, because I was watching a great video by Jordan Peterson on this, and I hope you don't mind me bringing this up. But Peterson was making the point that when it comes to high trust and low trust societies, he wasn't talking about this specifically. He was talking about trust when you're talking with someone and when they betray that trust. And I thought it was such a great clip, because what he's talking about is basically what you and I talk about when it comes to high trust societies. When I hear the Aussie accent, I expect certain values.
Yep.
And I'm like, okay, this guy probably went to this sort of schooling in this sort of community. He probably played a bit of rugby, bit of cricket, bit of this and that. And I'm like, okay, I feel a little bit more comfortable trusting my kids with that guy rather than the guy that can't say a word of English.
Yep.
And I think that's so critical. And that's, people are like, why are you harping on about the accent? That's why. It's immediate trust in a foreign country. And that's why I ask about your travel, because you get it. Like, when you've traveled, you know what it's like to not have that air of trust in society.
Oh.
And what I'm really worried about, and what I want to hear your thoughts about, as trust goes down, what happens with business?
Well, it becomes unfunctional. I mean, it doesn't work. And this is what we're heading into. This is Australia now. I can listen to your accent on the phone, and I try not to make preconceived judgments about it. But over the years of 17 years in business, I've dealt with pretty much every type of person you can possibly imagine. And in my businesses, we do B2C, business to customer clients, front-facing retail, mums and dads. Why? Because I know what I'm getting and I know what I can work with.
Yeah. When
you do B2B, it's a completely different story, because you could have directors with all sorts of bankruptcies and histories, and they want 30 and 60-day accounts, and they won't pay you and they don't care. But with mums and dads, I can knock on the door and go, is there a problem? Let's sort this out and let's have a conversation about how we rectify that. That's the difficult conversation part.
Right.
Australia is becoming a very low trust society. You don't even need to spend long online to see that, because even my arc of emergence as a figure with this march and the social media content I started making, people are like, oh, you're clearly owned by Zion. You're getting your $7,000 per post, and you're clearly a Jewish shill. And then, oh, you're a Nazi, you're a neo, and so it doesn't matter.
No.
Around the peripheries of where I am.
Yeah. If I can just take 20 seconds of your time, I apologize for interrupting this clip. If you'd like to support Turning Point Australia and what we're doing to help keep the lights on and keep the work going moving forward, please check out our website at tpaust.com.au. We've got a range of merchandise, whether it's the Make Australia Great Again hat, whether it's the other shirts that we have, or the educational maps that we have. Please go and support. If you don't want to buy any merch, that's fine. You can also support us by buying us a coffee and becoming a regular subscriber for as little as $4 a month. I'll let you guys get back to it. Thank you so much.
Everyone's at you anyway, right?
Yeah.
And so, that's because we live in a low trust society. So I actually made a video about it. Now, every time someone accuses me of that, I just post a video link and go, watch this. Yeah.
What was the video?
It was called Shill, M-I Shill.
Right.
And it was just me doing what I normally do on the treadmill with my weighted vest on, taking the piss out of the people that have a go at me, and you can ignore that stuff and just keep going on. But I'm also, I do get a little bit offended by it.
Yeah, me too.
Because Australia used to be a high trust society.
Yeah.
Social media hasn't helped. We know that.
Yeah.
But banning under 16s from being on social media, who make up less than 1% of social media content that's consumed, isn't going to solve that problem either.
Yeah.
You've got a lot of really pissed off kids that are going to be voting in 2028, mate, when they realise that Snapchat's been turned off on the December 10th. Yeah. So we'll see how that plays out.
I'm really excited about that. All of Gen Z can vote in 2028.
Kick them in the ass, And look, one of the things that, and I don't know if you see this in your community or not as well, but the kids that I talk to now are so red-pilled. Oh, my God. And maybe it's because I've surrounded myself with my daughters who are, probably closer to my political spectrum than the schools they went to.
Yeah.
But their friends, the kids that I meet through the things that I do, mate, like, I've got a bunch of tradies working for me at the moment. They're like, Scotty loved your video, mate. When are we marching? When are we marching? These are kids that, they're carpenters.
Yeah.
I think this government's in for a rude surprise when all the tradies of this country, because everyone thinks the tradies vote Labor.
Yeah.
There's about 100,000 CFMEU members that do. The rest of them vote One Nation, mate, or they vote conservatively. Right. Yeah. So these kids are coming to Christ, which is another thing that I've seen. Like, I went to church for the first time last weekend. I'm like, mate,
Yeah.
wow. Did you do that after you did bucket bonks for breakfast or before the beers? You know, which one was it? But at least you went, you know. There's a thing happening out there.
Well, you asked about our community, Rami. Our people are basically Nazis. Like, they are really hardcore. Yeah. No, seriously, bro. Like, no. They make the white Gen Zs look chill. Thank you so much for watching the show. I hope you enjoyed this particular clip. If you want to support this show and keep the lights on and support everything we're doing at Turning Point Australia, please head to tpaust.com.au, where we've got hats, we've got shirts, we've got maps. And if you don't want to buy any merch, that's perfectly fine. If you want to just buy maybe a cup of coffee a month for as little as $4 a month, you can help us get a small long black to actually support the show and actually keep things going. Thank you guys so much for your support. Please remember to like, share, comment, and subscribe. I'll see you later.